What if today, God wanted to speak directly to you? Not to the world, not to the crowd, just you. Welcome to Jesus Saves. This video is not just a message, it's an encounter. A divine whisper wrapped in words you were meant to hear. If your soul has been searching, if your heart has been weary, this is for you. Stay until the very end, because the voice that created the stars has something personal to say to you.
You wonder why the weight on your heart feels heavier with each passing day, as though the world itself is pressing into your chest, stealing the breath from your spirit. And yet, in this very moment, I draw near to you, not with condemnation, not with distance, but with the kind of embrace that only a father who knows every strand of your soul could offer. Before you woke today, I was already here. I saw the tear on your pillow, the silent ache behind your smile, and I whispered into the dawn, "Do not be afraid. I am with you." You may feel forgotten. You may feel that your prayers dissolve into the air unanswered. But let me reveal a truth you have perhaps forgotten in the haze of hardship. I have never left your side. Even in the moments when your faith flickered like a fragile candle in the storm, I stood with you, shielding you from winds you didn't even know were coming. My child, your exhaustion does not offend me. Your doubt does not frighten me. Your struggle does not surprise me. I know the entire landscape of your heart, the valleys carved by pain and the peaks you've barely reached. And I say, I love all of it. I love all of you. There is a reason you are hearing these words today. This isn't coincidence. This isn't random. This is a divine interruption in your routine, a holy pause in the noise, where I'm inviting you to listen, not with your ears, but with your heart. Because in your heart, you still carry that flicker of hope, that ember of belief that refuses to die out. That hope is not foolishness. It is a seed I planted in you long ago, waiting for the season when the rain would come and the roots would deepen. This is that season. You see trials as punishment. I see them as preparation. You cry out, "Why me?" But I whisper back, "Because I have chosen you to grow strong, not through ease, but through endurance. Chosen you to shine not despite the darkness, but because of it." What you are walking through now is not meant to destroy you. It's designed to awaken what's already inside of you. A spirit that refuses to be defeated, a soul made of something eternal. You look around and compare your journey with others. Their lives look easy, their progress smoother. But what if I told you that the depth of your pain is evidence of the greatness of your calling? The greater the pressure, the stronger the vessel. And you, beloved, are being shaped into something unshakable. I do not waste pain. Every tear you have cried has watered the soil of your future. You thought you were breaking, but you were being planted. When your strength falters, lean into mine. I am not asking you to climb every mountain alone. I am not asking you to smile through everything or to pretend you're okay. I am asking you to come, just as you are, burdened, confused, unsure, and trust that I am enough for the both of us. Because I am. I have always been, and I always will be. What you see as delay, I call divine timing. I am not slow to act. I am perfect in my precision. And when I move in fullness. You may not understand the rhythm of my plan, but can you trust the heart of the one who authored time itself? I am not trying to frustrate you. I am preparing you. If I gave you everything you asked for now, it might crush you. But what I'm building in you will make you capable of carrying the blessing I've prepared. And that blessing, it is closer than you know. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are becoming. Let go of the idea that your worth is measured by your progress or performance. I never called you to perfection, I called you to presence. To be with me, to sit with me, to walk with me. And if that's all you do today, it is enough. I am not grading you. I am holding you. There's still beauty left in your story, even if you can't see it from where you stand. The pages ahead are not blank. They are brimming with purpose. And while you stare at closed doors, I have been opening others. Ones you haven't even imagined. Your breakthrough may not look like you expected. It may come quietly, wrapped in ordinary moments. But it will come, because I am faithful to finish what I began. So take a breath. Let it be deep. Let it reach all the way to the places you've been afraid to feel. You don't need to have it all figured out. You only need to know this. I am here, not someday, not when you're stronger. Now, I am here, and I am not leaving. Even when the world around you seems to spin out of control, I remain constant. When voices of doubt grow loud, let mine be louder. When fear tries to grip your heart, remember that I hold you in the palm of my hand. Not a single moment of your pain is wasted. Every piece of your story matters. Every moment is seen. I am not waiting for you to be perfect. I am waiting for you to be present. Come back to me, not because you failed, but because you are loved. You always were. You always will be. And this is only the beginning. You've walked through storms that others didn't even see coming, held your breath through nights so long they felt like they would never end. And still, here you are. Not because you've never felt afraid, but because you kept going, even with trembling hands and knees that buckled beneath the weight. My beloved, the strength you've shown doesn't come from your muscles or your willpower. It comes from me. It has always been my spirit within you, carrying you farther than your feet could travel, holding your heart when it broke in silence. And I rejoice in you. You may not realize how far you've come because you're too close to your own journey. But I see it. Every scar, every prayer, every silent choice to keep believing when nothing made sense. I have written it all down, and not a single act of courage has gone unnoticed. You think you've been wandering, but I've been leading. You think you've been breaking, but I've been rebuilding. Do not confuse stillness for stagnation. I am not idle when you are still. Sometimes, the greatest growth happens in your roots, in silence, in darkness, in hidden places where no applause echoes. You are not behind schedule. You are right where I've planted you. I know the voices you battle, the ones that tell you you're not enough, that you're too broken, too far gone. Let me silence them with my truth. You are my masterpiece, not in progress, not one day now. Not because you've done everything right, but because I have done everything with love. There is nothing flawed about my design, and you, child, are my most intricate creation. Your laughter, your longing, your flaws, your fight. They are all part of a sacred story I am telling through your life. Yes, you've made mistakes, but I am not tallying failures. I am crafting redemption. I don't look at your life and see a mess. I see a miracle in motion. Your past is not your prison. It is the soil where mercy grows. Every broken moment becomes the canvas where my grace paints beauty the world can't explain. So stop replaying your regrets. I've already forgiven them. Stop clutching shame like it belongs to you. I've already carried it away. Walk forward. You're not walking into judgment. You're walking into joy. And no, it won't always be easy. There will still be days when fear creeps in, when the path seems invisible, when weariness tells you to give up. But even then, I am closer than your own breath. I don't ask you to never fear. I ask you to never forget who holds you in the midst of that fear. When waves rise, I don't demand that you swim. I stretch out my hand. Let me lift you. Let me speak peace into your storm. You were never meant to weather it alone. The calling on your life isn't small. That's why the resistance has felt so relentless. But every time the darkness tried to crush you, it only revealed how much light you carry. Every time discouragement tried to silence you, I whispered a little louder. You are not meant to blend in, you are meant to shine. And I will fan that flame in you until it becomes a beacon. Through your life, many will come to know that I am real, not because of your perfection, but because of your perseverance. Not because you never fell, but because you always got back up. There are things I'm about to do in your life that will not make sense to others. That's okay, they were not present for your battles. They didn't see the nights you cried out to me. They didn't hear your whispered prayers in the dark. But I did. And now I will honor that faith. Even if it was fragile, even if it wavered, it was real. And that is what I respond to. I am about to open doors you didn't even know existed. I will make ways where there were none. And when it happens, you'll remember this moment, these words, and you'll know. I was always listening. Let the world say what it will. Let fear scream. Let the enemy attempt his lies. But know this, No voice carries more weight than mine, and I say you are chosen. You are protected. You are treasured. I will not allow your steps to be in vain. Your journey has meaning, even in its meandering. You have not wandered aimlessly, you've been guided intentionally. What felt like detours were divine redirections. What felt like closed doors were my hands moving you to something greater. So do not be discouraged by what you don't yet see. Trust what I have spoken. Faith is not about feeling. It is about believing when feelings betray you. And I promise you, the day is coming when you will look back and understand it all. The pain, the delays, the tears, they were never wasted. They were sacred. They were holy ground. And from that ground, new life is breaking forth. Lift your eyes. The season is shifting. What once felt barren will bloom. What once felt lost will be restored. And it won't be because you earned it. It will be because I am faithful. This is not the end. This is the turning point. You are stepping into the fullness of what I prepared all along. Walk boldly, my child. The future is not something to fear. It is something to embrace. For I go before you, and I dwell within you, and my love for you knows no limit. Now rise. You keep asking me when your breakthrough will come, when the weight will lift, when peace will return. But beloved, I ask you this instead. Can you recognize how much strength you've gained simply by enduring? You've been waiting for the answer, but I've been giving you endurance. You've longed for the destination, yet I've been walking with you through the valley, reshaping you with each step. You haven't been stuck, you've been growing, quietly, powerfully, invisibly to the world, but undeniably to me. Don't underestimate what's been happening within you during this waiting. The delay was never about punishment, it was about preparation. I could have rushed it. I could have handed you what you wanted on the very day you asked. But I chose to form in you something deeper than desire. I chose to build character, faith, trust. Not the kind that flourishes in fair weather, but the kind that stands unshaken in the storm. And now, your roots run deeper than they ever have. You don't just believe in me, you've learned to depend on me. That is a rare treasure. I know there were days you wanted to give up, when your prayers felt like they bounced off ceilings, when silence was louder than answers. I saw your heart break open in the middle of the night, and I held you not in the way the world does, but in a way that strengthens you in secret. My arms never left you. My grace kept flowing even when you couldn't feel it. Do not think for a moment that your silence went unnoticed. I heard every word you couldn't say. I saw every tear you never let fall. My child, you are not a burden. You are not too much. You are not forgotten. I do not tire of you. I do not grow weary of your questions or your doubt. I welcome your wrestlings, your frustrations, your longings. Bring them to me again and again, for I am not intimidated by your honesty. I am honored by it. That is relationship. That is faith, not pretending, not performance, but presence. Being with me, even when it hurts. There is beauty in that kind of love, the kind that stays even when it doesn't understand. And that's the love you've shown me. You may not realize it, but you've honored me more in your pain than in your victories, because you chose to stay. You chose to keep walking with me even when you didn't know where the road would lead. That kind of faith moves mountains. And now those mountains are trembling. Yes, change is coming, not a wave but a shift. The kind of shift that alters everything from the inside out. I am not just going to bless what's visible. I'm going to heal what's been hidden. The places in your heart you buried long ago. The wounds you learned to live with. I am uncovering them, not to shame you, but to restore you. I don't want to just bless your life. I want to make it whole. You've been faithful with little. Now I will trust you with more. More peace. More wisdom. More purpose. You don't need to chase significance. You were born with it. You don't need to earn my approval. You already have it. Everything the world tried to convince you you lacked, I've already placed within you. And now, I'm awakening what's been asleep. So rise from that place of disappointment. Shake the dust of discouragement from your soul. You are not who the world labeled you. You are not the sum of your failures. You are not defined by the trauma that touched your past. You are who I say you are, redeemed, renewed, restored. No longer a prisoner of fear, but a child of promise. No longer wandering, but walking with direction, clarity, and divine purpose. The enemy tried to convince you that this was the end, that your best days were behind you, that hope was just a wish. But I say otherwise. I declare that hope is alive within you, growing stronger every day, that your latter days shall be greater than your former, that you will smile again not because your pain didn't happen, but because it no longer controls you. Freedom, real freedom, is closer than you think. You don't have to force this. You don't have to strive. You just have to surrender. The burden was never yours to carry alone. Place it in my hands, not just the problems, but the control. Release the timing, the expectations, the bitterness you've held so tightly. Let go, and watch me do what only I can do. I know what you've lost. I know what you've feared, but I also know what's coming, and if you could see it, you'd be dancing in advance. This is not a season of survival. It is a season of unveiling. I am lifting the veil from your eyes so you can see what's always been true. You are loved. You are chosen. You are enough. You are mine. You keep asking me to fix the circumstances around you, but today I ask you to let me transform the space within you. Yes, I can change the situation, and I will. But more than that, I want to change how you stand in the storm. I want to take that trembling heart of yours and turn it into a pillar that cannot be shaken. Not by wind, not by fear, not by the voices of doubt. I want to show you what it means to walk in peace even when chaos surrounds you. Because peace is not the absence of trouble. It is the presence of me. You've been praying for deliverance, and I hear you. But understand this, sometimes the deliverance you need isn't from the battle, but from the belief that the battle defines you. I am not just removing enemies, I am rewriting your identity. You are not a victim of what has happened to you. You are not the sum of what they said or what you lost. You are my child, crafted with intention, called with purpose, and equipped with power. When you finally begin to see yourself through my eyes, everything else will shift. The chains that once bound you have no power now unless you keep holding them. I already broke them. I already declared you free. But freedom requires faith, not just in me, but in what I've already placed within you. So I ask you today, will you let go of what no longer serves the soul I created? Let go of that resentment. Let go of the shame you've rehearsed so often it became your story. Let go of the self-hate, the inner critic, the quiet belief that you're unworthy of joy. That is not your voice. That is not my truth. You've spent too long shrinking yourself to fit into places I never called you to. Too long apologizing for being sensitive, for being passionate, for dreaming big. Do you not know who made you that way? I put that fire in you. I gave you that hunger for more. I designed you not to settle but to soar. And now it's time to stop looking down in fear and start looking up in faith. Your wings were not given for decoration. They were meant for flight. I know you've been weary. You've questioned whether you're even strong enough to take one more step. But hear me clearly. You are not here by accident. The fact that you're still breathing, still believing, even if just barely, is evidence of my hand sustaining you. I do not keep you alive to merely survive. I keep you because you have not yet seen the fullness of what I've prepared for you. You haven't seen the laughter that will rise again from your soul, the love that will return, the peace that will anchor you so deeply you'll wonder how you ever lived without it. Do not be afraid to hope again. I know it feels risky. I know you've been disappointed before, but I am not like others. My promises are not shallow. My words are not empty. When I say I will restore you, I mean it with the full force of eternity. When I say I will bless you, it is not with leftovers. It is with abundance. My storehouses are not empty. My heart toward you is not hesitant. I am generous. I am ready. And I delight in doing more than you ask or imagine. So ask again. Believe again. Dream again. Even if your voice trembles, even if your heart is cautious, ask. Because I respond not to perfection, but to trust. Not to performance, but to surrender. When you let go, I begin. When you believe, I build. When you rest, I restore. And beloved, you can rest now. You don't need to fight for every blessing. You You don't need to prove your worth. You don't need to beg me to notice you. I've never stopped watching over you. In your quietest moments, I was there. In the spaces where you thought no one cared, I cared deeply. I didn't just notice you. I cherished you. I still do. This life is not meant to be a constant chase. You don't need to hustle for my love. It's already yours. You don't need to strive for approval. I approved you when I formed you. The plans I have for you are not slipping away. They are unfolding. Slowly, yes, but surely, with divine precision and loving purpose. And I will finish what I started. Let the world rush. You stay in rhythm with me. Walk with me. Trust that even the slow steps are leading somewhere holy. You have not missed your moment. You are not too late. You are right on time in the hands of the one who holds eternity. Let my words be the soundtrack of your soul. Let them echo louder than fear, stronger than pain, truer than anything you've ever believed about yourself. For I am speaking even now, not from a distance, but from within, closer than your next breath. And I am not speaking to condemn you. I am speaking to call you, to rise, to return, to reclaim every dream you buried beneath disappointment. To believe again, not just in me, but in who you are when you're with me. You've heard it said that time heals all wounds, but you and I both know that some wounds don't fade. They go deeper, lingering beneath smiles and polite words, hidden behind the strength you show others. But I haven't asked you to hide them. I've asked you to hand them to me. I don't need you to pretend. I need you to trust. Not because I'm distant, but because I am the only one who can truly touch the places no one else sees and speak life where you thought only silence remained. You've gotten good at functioning while broken, carrying on while weary, nurturing others while neglecting your own heart. But I didn't call you to merely survive behind a mask of strength. I called you to live abundantly, wide open, soul deep, free. And freedom begins when you realize that vulnerability with me is not weakness, it is worship. You don't have to bring me perfection. Just bring me presence. Your presence. Your truth. That's all I ask. That's where I begin. I know the parts of your story that still sting. The chapters you wish you could rewrite. But if only you could see what I see. How every painful line has been infused with redemption. How what the enemy meant for harm is now becoming the very soil where your calling will grow. You see brokenness. I see beauty under construction. You see detours. I see a divine rerouting. Nothing, absolutely nothing, is wasted when it is surrendered into my hands. So today, stop running from what hurt you. Stop believing you have to heal on your own. My grace is not just a covering. It is a current, moving, lifting, renewing. Let it flood the corners of your life where you've locked the doors. I will not force my way in, but I will knock, gently and faithfully, until you're ready to open. And when you do, I won't meet you with judgment. I will meet you with healing. You are not too far, not too flawed, not too late. The timeline you thought you missed was never my timeline. I am the author of time itself, and I know how to make all things beautiful not just in time, but through it. Every delay has meaning. Every detour has purpose. Even your missteps have not disqualified you. They've become part of the map I'm using to lead you deeper into destiny. So walk with me now. Not as a stranger trying to earn your way back, but as a beloved child returning home. You've never stopped being mine. Not when you wandered. Not when you doubted. Not when you turned your face from me in pain. I remained. I always remain. Because my love for you does not depend on your consistency. It is anchored in my character. And I do not change. You are safe here. You don't have to explain yourself to me. I was there for all of it. The heartbreaks, the betrayals, the prayers that seemed to go unanswered. I heard every cry. I gathered every tear. And I have been working not just around you, but in you. You are stronger than you know. Not because you've never fallen, but because every time you did, you chose to rise. That's where your power lies, in your choice to keep moving toward me, even if you crawled. I've seen how you fight to stay hopeful. I've watched you encourage others when your own soul felt empty. That is the kind of faith that moves my heart. Not the loud faith, not the polished kind, but the faith that whispers in the dark. I still believe. That whisper, that is your worship. That is your offering, and I receive it with joy. Now hear me clearly, your story is not over. In fact, you are standing on the threshold of something new. You can feel it, can't you? That subtle pull in your spirit. That stirring that says, there must be more. That's not your imagination, that's me. That is purpose waking up again. That is your soul remembering who it is and whose it is. Let me revive what life tried to steal from you. Let me breathe into the dreams you buried, thinking they were too far gone. What I give life to, no man can kill. What I've declared over you, no circumstance can undo. You were created to reflect my glory, not by being flawless, but by being faithful. And you've been faithful even when you didn't feel fruitful. But now the fruit is coming. In the days ahead, I will open your eyes to see what I've been doing all along. You'll look back and realize that while you were waiting, I was working. While you were doubting, I was designing. And while you were weeping, I was weaving joy into your future. The breakthrough you've prayed for is on its way, but it will not just be a change in situation. It will be a transformation of the soul, a reawakening of purpose, a resurrection of joy. And through it all, you will say, He was with me the entire time. There are moments when you question if your life has any real impact. You wonder if the little you do matters, if the choices you've made to stay kind in a world that often rewards cruelty are seen at all. But beloved, let me assure you, every act of love you've offered in silence, every decision you've made in private to walk in integrity, every time you turned away from bitterness to choose peace, it all echoes in eternity. Nothing done in love is ever lost. Not one moment, not one gesture. Heaven noticed when no one else did. You've been storing treasure in a place where moth and rust cannot destroy. You've been sowing seeds in seasons where you couldn't yet see the harvest. But the time is coming, and it is nearer than you realize, when the first sprouts will break the surface. What felt buried will soon be revealed as planted. What you thought had died was actually becoming rooted. I haven't forgotten your labor. I haven't overlooked your tears. Your reward is not just coming. It's being prepared with intention, shaped specifically for you, with more care and precision than you could ever imagine. I didn't call you to be famous. I called you to be faithful. And you have been. Quietly, consistently, even when it cost you, even when it didn't feel like it was enough. That faithfulness has moved my heart. You've trusted me in the shadows. Now you will see what I do in the light. I am lifting the veil from your story. I am revealing the beauty behind the broken pieces. I am taking what was meant to destroy you and using it to display my glory. You've often disqualified yourself because of your flaws. You thought your past excluded you from my promises. But if you truly knew how I work, you'd understand. I specialize in redemption. I elevate the ones the world rejects. I anoint the humble, the wounded, the overlooked. My kingdom is upside down on purpose, so the proud cannot boast and the broken can belong. You, my child, belong. Do not wait until you feel perfect to step into what I've prepared. I never asked you to clean yourself up first. I asked you to come. Come as you are. I will do the cleaning. I will do the healing. Just bring me your yes. Bring me your heart, even if it's bruised. Bring me your faith, even if it trembles. I can do more with an honest whisper than with a hollow shout. You don't need to prove yourself. You simply need to believe that I am enough, and that in me so are you. There is still more ahead. Do not settle. Do not stop short. The dreams I've placed inside you weren't random. They are blueprints for your calling. The passions that won't go away, they are holy hints. Stop silencing them. Stop assuming they're selfish. If they lead you toward light, toward love, toward lifting others, they were born in my heart before they ever reached yours. I placed eternity inside you. That's why the world never quite satisfies you. That's why no earthly accomplishment, no title, no applause ever feels like enough. Because you were made for more than success, more than comfort, more than security. You were made to walk with me, to create with me, to carry light into dark places. That ache you feel is not a problem. It's a pointer, a divine compass, reminding you that your soul knows where it belongs. And you belong with me. Let this truth sink deep today. You are not lacking. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not behind. You are in process. You are growing. And I am not ashamed of your pace. I am not impatient with your journey. I delight in every step you take toward me, no matter how small, because I know where we're going. I know the view at the top of this mountain. I know the strength that will rise in you through every climb. So let go of the timeline you thought you needed. Let go of the shame you've carried like armor. It never protected you, it only weighed you down. Let my grace be your covering now. Let my promises be your pace. We're not racing, we're rebuilding. And nothing built with me ever falls apart. Stay close. I'm not done speaking, not done revealing, not done blessing, and neither are you. You haven't peaked. You haven't plateaued. You're not too old. You're not too late. Your best songs haven't been sung. Your brightest days haven't been lived. You're not winding down, you're rising up. This is not your ending. This is your beginning. There is a fire inside you. Though it may flicker in moments of doubt, it has never gone out. That fire is not your doing. It is mine. I placed it within you long before your first breath. Long before you ever spoke a prayer. Long before you had words to describe the ache inside your chest. I was already preparing you for this journey. You were not called to be ordinary. You were not created to simply pass through life unnoticed, unchanged. You are marked by heaven. You carry eternity in your soul. That is why the world never fit you perfectly, because it wasn't made to. Every part of you that has felt too much or not enough, your sensitivity, your passion, your longing for more, is not a flaw. It is a calling. You were made to feel deeply so that you could love boldly. You were made to see differently so you could lead others with vision. I gave you a heart that breaks for injustice so that you would become a voice for those who've been silenced. None of this is random. None of this is accidental. I wove purpose into every fiber of your being. And yet, I know you've questioned it. I've seen the moments when you stared at the ceiling and wondered if you missed it, if you somehow wandered too far, waited too long, walked too slow. But child, you forget your steps have always been in my hands. Even when you stumbled, I was still guiding. Even when you stood still, I was still working. I don't need your perfection. I need your permission. I need your heart to say, yes, Lord, even now, even after all this time. Because yes, even now, I can still do more than you imagined. Even after the disappointments, even after the closed doors, even after the broken relationships and the prayers that felt like they fell flat. I do not look at your life and see limitation. I see potential, promise, and a future worth celebrating. I see someone I love without condition. Someone I died for, someone I rose for, someone worth renewing again and again until the final chapter reflects all the glory I've written into your story. So don't measure your value by the metrics of this world. Don't base your worth on numbers, on followers, on the approval of broken people. I have called you beloved. I have named you mine. And what I say about you cannot be undone by any opinion or failure. You don't need a platform to be powerful. You don't need applause to be effective. You only need me, and you have me completely. This season you're in, it's not punishment. It's preparation. I'm not withholding blessing. I'm refining your capacity to receive it. You've been asking for overflow, but I've been reinforcing the walls of your heart so it won't collapse when the blessing comes. I am doing a deep work, an unseen work. And yes, that can feel frustrating when everything around you feels still, quiet, or uncertain. But remember, seeds don't make noise while they grow. And you, my beloved, are growing. You are learning to stand tall in the silence, to trust me when you can't trace me. You are learning to love without fear, to hope without proof, to rise again even when there's no hand to lift you but mine. That kind of strength is not common, it is holy. And you, even in your weakness, are becoming holy ground. Do not shrink back now. You've come too far. There is still so much I want to reveal to you, about who you are, about what I've placed inside you, about what you're meant to carry into the world. You are not just meant to be healed. You are meant to heal others. You are not just meant to be restored. You are meant to restore. That's why the battle was so fierce. That's why the enemy tried to silence you. Because he knew what was coming next. He knew what I would do through you once you understood the truth of who you really are. You are not broken, you are becoming. You are not behind, you are being built. You are not forgotten, you are being fashioned for greatness. And the time is coming when everything will begin to make sense. The connections will be clear. The wounds will become wisdom. The delay will reveal its divine purpose. And your voice will rise, not as an echo, but as a trumpet of truth in a world desperate to hear it. Hold fast. I am not done. You haven't seen the fullness of what I will do in and through your life. But know this, what I'm preparing for you is only surpassed by what I'm preparing within you. And that, child, is something eternal. There is something stirring inside you, isn't there? A quiet shift, a soft, steady rising. You can't fully explain it, but you feel it, a holy unrest. Not anxiety, not fear, but something deeper. It's the pulse of purpose returning. It's the whisper of destiny waking up again. For too long you've stood in the ashes of what was, staring at ruins, questioning if beauty could ever come from them. But I have never called you to stay in mourning. I am the God who rebuilds from ruins, who breathes life into bones, who calls dead things to rise again. And I am calling you. You've looked in the mirror and seen someone who's survived. But I see more. I see someone who is becoming a living testimony, a vessel of hope, a carrier of light. I see the oil I've been pressing out of your pain, the anointing I've been preparing through every season of heartbreak. You've walked through fire, and yet you are not consumed. Not because you are immune to pain, but because my presence has shielded you in ways you'll only understand when you look back. Don't be surprised by how much you've changed. This isn't accidental. I've been transforming you quietly, like a potter shaping clay with care and intention. The hands that formed the stars are the same hands that formed your calling. I don't rush my masterpieces. I take my time, because what I'm building in you isn't just for now. It's for generations to come. Your life is becoming a ripple in eternity. You think the healing is only for you, but watch as it begins to heal others simply by being near them. You have authority you haven't even walked in yet. There are gifts within you that have been dormant, waiting for the appointed time. And child, the time is drawing near. The season of hiding is shifting into a season of revealing. But not a revealing for applause, one for assignment. I am positioning you to stand where others fell, to speak where others went silent, to move where others were frozen by fear. This isn't about spotlight. This is about stewardship. What I've poured into you wasn't meant to be stored away. It was meant to overflow. So don't hold back anymore. Don't dilute your light to make others comfortable. Don't apologize for the fire I've placed in your bones. The world doesn't need a quieter you. It needs the true you. The you that walks in compassion and truth. The you that doesn't need to be perfect, only present. The you that trusts me enough to speak, move, and believe even when it still feels shaky. I do not call the flawless. I call the willing. And if you're willing, even now, I can do more than you dared to dream. You've heard my promises. You've clung to them in the night. But now I want to take them off the page and write them across your life. I want to show you that they weren't just poetry, they were prophecy. Every word I've spoken over you still stands. Not one has expired. Not one has grown weak. Even the ones you forgot, I have not. I have held them close, waiting for the perfect moment to bring them to life. And that moment is closer than it feels. So lift your head. Lift your eyes. There is more coming. Not because you earned it, but because I love to give good gifts to my children. Not because you prayed perfectly, but because I saw the sincerity in your heart when you whispered to me in exhaustion. I honor the ones who come to me honestly, the ones who cry out even with trembling voices, the ones who refuse to give up even when they feel like they have nothing left. That's when I do my greatest work. I am not asking you to figure it all out. I am asking you to walk with me, step by step, breath by breath. I am not in a hurry, and you don't need to be either. What I'm doing in you is not just about fixing what's broken. It's about revealing what's always been there but hidden by pain, doubt, and lies. I am lifting the veil. I am clearing the fog. And soon, you'll see what I've been seeing all along. that within you lives the strength of a warrior and the tenderness of my spirit. You are both bold and beloved, called and covered, scarred, yes, but sealed by grace. So keep walking, even when the way is unclear. Keep trusting, even when the answers don't come quickly. Keep worshiping, even when your voice cracks with grief. I am in it all. I am using it all, and I will bring beauty from it all. Not a single part of your journey will be wasted. Nothing surrendered to me ever is. There will be days when you wake up with heaviness pressing on your chest before the sun even rises. Days when your reflection looks like a stranger, and your thoughts spiral into places you promised yourself you'd never visit again. I see those days before they arrive, and I want you to know I go ahead of them. I step into your tomorrow long before you take your first breath of it. You never walk into darkness alone. My light is already there, waiting to meet you. Do not let shame talk louder than my voice. It's cunning, I know. It echoes with the past, with things done and undone, with words spoken and ones withheld. But child, if you could only hear what I say over you each morning. I call you radiant. I call you forgiven. I call you mine. Not because you've earned those names, but because I gave them freely, and I do not take them back. My grace is not a temporary shelter. It is your home. You've been running long enough. Running from your own expectations. Running from the fear that you'll never measure up. Running from the feeling that maybe you're too much or maybe not enough. But today, I'm not asking you to fix that. I'm not asking you to conquer it. I'm asking you to rest. Not a passive rest, but the kind that breathes life back into dry bones. The kind of rest that comes when you finally realize you don't have to strive for what is already yours. My love, my favor, my presence. Let me be the one who carries what you've tried so long to hold alone. You were never meant to be your own savior. You were never asked to solve every crisis, to please everyone, to get it all right. That pressure is not from me. I lead gently. I heal slowly. I don't rush what is sacred. And your heart, my child, is sacred to me. There is no weakness in needing help. There is no shame in falling apart when the weight becomes too much. If only you knew how tightly I hold the broken pieces. Not one of them slips through my hands. I'm not just rebuilding what was lost. I'm creating something new from what remains. You see fragments. I see foundation. Yes, I know you've been discouraged. You've watched others move ahead while you stayed still. You've prayed and waited and then waited some more. You've wondered if I forgot. But let me make it clear. I don't forget those who wait on me. What I build in seasons of delay cannot be shaken in storms. Your patience is not pointless. It is positioning you for a promise that time cannot decay. When you're tempted to compare, remember, I never asked you to run their race. I equipped you for yours. Your pace is holy. Your story is handcrafted. You do not need to compete when you're already complete in me. Every time you choose peace over performance, rest over rushing, intimacy over image, you align yourself with the rhythm of heaven. You were not born to be overwhelmed. You were born to overcome. And you will, not by your strength but by mine. Even now, I'm working behind the curtain. What looks still on the surface is alive beneath. The seeds I've planted in your life are about to break through. Not because of your striving, but because of my faithfulness. So don't lose heart when the day feels dark. Don't shrink when your emotions scream louder than truth. Instead, return to me. Return to what you know is real. Not the noise, not the fear, not the accusations, but my voice. Steady, constant, true. I haven't changed. I'm still the same God who spoke peace to the storm, who healed with a touch, who lifted the outcast with a word. That same power is present in your life right now. Come boldly. Come as you are. You don't need to dress up your prayers or disguise your struggle. I meet you in the honest places. I dwell in the raw, the real, the unedited. When you stop hiding, healing begins. When you stop running, transformation starts. You are not disqualified. You are not forgotten. You are not stuck. You are on sacred ground even now. And soon you will look around and see what I was doing in the silence. You'll see the fruit of the faith you fought so hard to keep. You'll see that every tear became a river of strength. Every waiting became a womb for something greater. And you will stand not as someone who barely made it, but as someone made new. You've carried the weight of the past longer than you were ever meant to. Not just the memories, but the emotion wrapped around them. The regret, the guilt, the endless questioning of what if. But child, I did not call you to relive what I have already redeemed. What's behind you no longer has the right to define what's ahead of you. You've asked for healing, and I've been pouring it quietly, into the broken places, into the wounds you tried to ignore, into the spaces even you were afraid to name. I'm not revisiting your past to shame you. I'm touching it to free you. It's time to stop punishing yourself for what I already forgave. The cross wasn't partial. My sacrifice didn't cover most of your sin. It covered all of it. When I said, "It is finished," that included the shame you still carry. I did not endure the cross for you to endure self-hatred. I did not rise from the grave for you to live in spiritual paralysis. I rose so you could rise too, into joy, into purpose, into peace that makes no sense to the world but belongs fully to you. Let me remind you, you are no longer the person you once were. You may remember the moments of weakness, but I remember the moment your heart turned toward me. That moment when you whispered, "God, help me," was enough to move all of heaven into motion. You think your transformation was slow, but I see the beauty in every unseen turn of your soul. I know the cost of every yes you've given me, the ones that didn't get applause, the ones that left you in tears. I know them and I treasure them. Stop measuring your progress by other people's milestones. Stop assuming you're late just because the path you walk looks different. There is no one-size-fits-all in the kingdom I am building. I tailor each journey to the soul I created. And you, child, are on holy ground, even when it feels like wilderness. Especially then, because it is in the wilderness that I speak the loudest, when all the other voices fade, and only my whisper remains. You've said, "God, I just want to hear you clearly." And I say, "Then be still." I don't compete with chaos. I don't yell over the noise. I wait for you to come, not perfectly, but intentionally. My voice is not distant. It's not buried under mystery. It's right here, in the silence between distractions, in the stillness of early mornings, in the gentle prompting you've learned to dismiss as your own thought. But it's me. It's always been me. I'm not hard to find. I've never hidden from you. I've walked beside you in every season, even the ones where you thought I was gone. My presence is not a feeling. It's a fact. And your life, though it's felt scattered at times, is still held entirely in my hands. The story isn't over. The page hasn't turned in vain. What I've begun in you, I will bring to completion. This next chapter will not be defined by confusion, but by clarity. Not by fear, but by confidence. I am restoring not just your hope, but your vision. I am giving you eyes to see beyond survival, to see purpose, to see assignment. I have not called you to simply get through this. I have called you to lead through this. Your voice, your presence, your story carries power. Not because you've avoided pain, but because you've allowed me to meet you in it. You may feel like you don't have much to offer, but what you carry is precious. It's not in your eloquence, but in your endurance. It's not in your resume, but in your resilience. Your scars speak of survival. Your tears have watered the ground others now stand on. That's impact. That's influence. And it didn't require a stage, it only required surrender. So now I invite you to stand, not with false strength, but with authentic courage. The kind that says, "I don't have all the answers, but I know who walks beside me." You don't need to pretend anymore. You don't need to protect yourself from me. I am not the one who hurt you. I am the one who's healing you. You are not disqualified. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. I see you. I've always seen you. And I have always loved you, not the future version of you, but this version. The one listening right now. The one trying. The one growing step by step. That is the one I delight in. And no matter what comes next, I'll still be here. Still guiding. Still protecting. Still speaking. Because that's who I am. Your shepherd. Your father. Your forever. I've watched you sit in rooms full of people and still feel alone. I've seen the smile you wear so well, The one that tells the world, I'm fine, even as your soul whispers, I'm not. You've mastered the art of appearing strong while quietly breaking. But let me tell you this, I see beyond appearances. I see what no one else can. I see the weight you carry in silence, the pressure you never voice, the questions that circle through your thoughts when the lights go out and the noise dies down. And I'm not overwhelmed by it. I'm drawn to it. You think you have to be put together to be worthy of my presence, but you don't. I do not avoid messy places. In fact, I enter them first. I step into the ache. I draw near to the parts of you that others avoid or overlook. Your vulnerability doesn't disqualify you. It qualifies you to receive the kind of love that heals on a level no surface solution ever could. You don't have to hide your hurt from me. I'm not afraid of it. I'm already inside it, working healing from the inside out. I know it's hard to believe sometimes. I know there are days when hope feels distant, when the promises feel like fading echoes, when the silence stretches so long you begin to wonder if I'm still listening. But I am. I always am. You don't need loud prayers or eloquent words to reach me. Sometimes your sigh is enough. Your tears speak louder than your sentences. And your silence, when wrapped in surrender, becomes a sacred kind of worship. I haven't forgotten the desires of your heart. I haven't brushed them aside or deemed them unimportant. Even the ones you're too afraid to name aloud, the ones you buried because disappointment got too heavy, I know them, and I still hold them. Not everything that delays is denial. Sometimes I withhold to protect. Sometimes I wait to align. And sometimes I delay to deepen your roots so the fruit I give you will last through every storm. You think you're behind, but I say you're being built. You think you're late, but I say you're right on time for what truly matters. I don't measure you by speed. I measure you by surrender. Your yes means more to me than your pace. Your obedience in obscurity means more than your performance in the spotlight. Faithfulness in the unseen is where eternal reward is born. Do not despise these quiet days. They are not wasted. They are wombs of greatness. The stillness you find uncomfortable is the very space where I'm doing my deepest work. You asked for breakthrough, but first I am building capacity. You asked for purpose, but first I am shaping identity. You asked for clarity, but first I am cultivating trust. You see the surface. I see the soul. And what I'm forming in you can't be rushed. Yes, it's sacred. And yes, it's slow. But child, slow isn't stagnant. It's solid. What I build slow, I build strong.
What I pour slowly, I pour deeply.
So let the pace humble you. Let the process mold you. I am not trying to frustrate you. I'm trying to free you. Free you from the addiction to results, the need for validation, the illusion that faster is always better. No, better is deeper. Better is steadier. Better is with me. So walk with me even if it's one uncertain step at a time. Lean into me when the path disappears and all you have is a promise. Let my presence be enough when progress feels invisible. Because I'm not just leading you toward the destination. I am the destination. The peace you seek, it's in me. The joy you crave, in me. The clarity, the strength, the restoration, it's all found in me. You don't need to see it all to believe again. You just need to remember who I am. I have never changed. I have never left. I have never stopped loving you. And I never will. You've been living with a quiet hesitation, like you're waiting for someone to give you permission to live fully, to dream boldly, to trust again. But listen closely, you already have that permission. Not from the world, not from others who may have doubted or diminished you. From me, you have always had it. From the very beginning, when I knit you together in your mother's womb, I whispered it over you, go, shine, speak, live. You don't need to wait for another sign. This is it. I see how you hold yourself back. Not because you lack desire, but because fear has made its home in the back corners of your mind, convincing you to play small. Fear has told you that failure will define you, that others are more worthy, that the world won't listen. But none of that came from me. I did not give you a spirit of fear. I gave you power. I gave you love. I gave you a sound mind, one that is capable of discerning truth from lies, one that can silence every voice that contradicts what I've spoken over you. You were not made to shrink. You were made to rise. Not in arrogance, but in authority. Not in pride, but in purpose. You carry something eternal. When you walk into a room, it's not just you entering, it's me, through you. My spirit lives within you. You are not empty. You are not aimless. You are not alone. So stop second-guessing the gift. Stop downplaying the call. The world may have taught you to wait your turn, to stay quiet, to settle, but I am calling you out now. Out of fear, out of shame, out of hesitation, into fullness. You've been praying for me to open doors, but I'm showing you it's time to walk through them. Some of them are already open, you've just been too afraid to step forward. But here's the truth. You don't have to be unafraid to move. You just have to be willing. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to go anyway, knowing who goes with you. I am already there, on the other side of your next step. I've prepared the way, even if it doesn't look the way you thought it would. So stop waiting for the perfect conditions. Stop waiting for everyone's approval. Faith rarely looks like certainty. It looks like movement, obedience. It looks like a shaky step into the unknown with my hand firmly in yours. That's how miracles begin. And I promise you, miracles are still happening. Not always in the ways you expect, but in ways that truly matter. In the quiet reconciliation of your heart. In the courage to begin again. In the patience to wait without bitterness. In the tenderness you offer even when you're tired. These are the miracles that change everything. Not just for you, but for the people whose lives your obedience will touch. You were never meant to keep this light to yourself. You were never meant to hoard this healing. What I'm doing in you is meant to ripple outward. Your journey is not a closed circle. It's a living testimony. What you've overcome will become someone else's hope. What I've restored in you will stir revival in others. You're not just being redeemed, you're being sent. So take the step. Send the message. Write the words. Pray the prayer. Start the thing. Forgive the one. Walk through the open door. You are not behind. You are not underqualified. You are exactly where I knew you would be when I chose you for this. I don't choose based on perfection. I choose based on willingness. And yes, you are ready. Ready not because you feel strong, but because you know who your strength is. Ready not because you've arrived, but because you've surrendered. And that surrender is all I need to do something beautiful, something eternal. So go now, not with fear in your eyes, but with fire in your soul. The road ahead will not be easy, but it will be holy. And I will walk with you every single step of the way. You've made it through so much already, more than most will ever know. And yet, here you are, still standing, still believing even if faintly, still moving forward even if slowly. But I want you to know this, you are not meant to just survive. You were created to live fully, not to tiptoe through life afraid of pain or failure, but to walk boldly in purpose, knowing that no matter what comes, you will never face it alone. You've questioned your worth so often that it's begun to feel like fact. The doubts have replayed like a familiar song. Am I really chosen? Am I really useful? Did I miss my moment? But let me interrupt that chorus with a louder, truer melody. You are mine. You are worthy. And no, you have not missed it. What I placed in you is not fragile. My plans don't expire when you make mistakes. You can't disqualify what I've already destined. And I have destined you for good things. Things greater than what you can see right now. I know the timeline hasn't unfolded the way you hoped. The chapters haven't read the way you wrote them. But that's because the author of your life sees beyond the page you're on. I don't skip over pain, but I also don't let it have the final word. What feels like delay is often design. I am using even your disappointment as direction. Every closed door was protection. Every detour was divine. And nothing, absolutely nothing, has been wasted. There's still more in you. More joy. More clarity. More peace. Don't let past exhaustion convince you that your best days are behind you. They are not. The best of what I will do in your life is not a memory. It's still ahead. And it won't come by force. It will come by faith. It won't come by striving. It will come by surrender. So let go again. Even now. Even if it's not neat or easy. Let go of needing all the answers. Let go of the pressure to be strong all the time. You don't have to carry the world. That was never your role. You just have to carry this moment, this breath, this next step, and I'll carry the rest. Let me remind you, you don't have to feel brave to be brave. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's obedience in the face of it. If fear is still there but you keep walking anyway, that's courage. If you cry while trusting me, that's faith. If you show up when you'd rather disappear, that's strength. You are stronger than you think, not because you never fall, but because you rise with me every time you do. You were never called to perform. You were called to abide. And when you abide in me, when you rest in who I am, everything begins to shift. You see more clearly. You love more freely. You live more deeply. That's where transformation begins. Not in the loud moments of breakthrough, but in the quiet moments of choosing me again and again. And those choices, they're shaping something eternal. You may not see the full picture yet, but you are becoming exactly who I created you to be. Not a copy, not a shadow, but you, the real, radiant, renewed version of you that is formed in my presence, shaped by my grace, and empowered by my spirit. So don't stop now. Don't give up here. The finish line isn't in sight because the journey isn't over. There are still prayers to be answered, people to love, joy to encounter, truth to speak, purpose to walk out. You're not ending. You're unfolding. Like a dawn that slowly overtakes the dark. Your life is revealing a light no shadow can overcome. And that light, it's not just for you. It's for the ones watching, wondering if hope is still real. They'll see it in you. Not because you were flawless, but because you were faithful. Not because you never feared, but because you never gave up. And through your life, they will see me. You've come so far. Not just in distance, but in depth. You've walked through valleys that nearly swallowed your hope, crossed deserts where the silence screamed louder than any storm, and still you kept moving. I want you to take a moment now and feel the weight of that truth. You didn't quit. You didn't let go. Even with trembling hands and tired feet, you kept your heart open to me. And that alone, that quiet defiance against despair, is more powerful than you realize. This is what becoming looks like. Not always loud, not always glorious. Sometimes it's just breathing through pain you can't explain. Standing when you feel invisible, hoping when you have every reason not to. But this holy, honest, ongoing yes is what makes you unstoppable. Because you're not moving in your own strength. You're moving in mine. So many people talk about destiny like it's something out there, waiting to be found. But I want you to see that it's already within you. Destiny is not a distant someday. So faithful now. It's every decision you make to stay soft when life tries to harden you. Every time you choose compassion over cynicism, truth over convenience, love over fear, that is destiny. That is kingdom work. And you've been doing it even when no one saw. You may still wonder, what if I mess it all up? What if I fail again? But hear me. I am not building your future on your perfection. I am building it on my promises. And my promises do not falter. They are not fragile. They don't crack under pressure or shift with your feelings. They are eternal. And when I speak over you, what I say does not return empty. It goes out and it accomplishes. It moves, it shakes, it creates. And what I've spoken over you, called chosen, loved, equipped, still stands. I know sometimes you wish it could all be easier, that the road could be straighter, that the lessons could come quicker. But child, easy doesn't make you strong. It doesn't form character. It doesn't create depth. And I'm not just preparing you for a moment. I'm preparing you for a mission. What I'm building in you now will sustain you not just for the next step, but for every step after that. For the lives you'll impact. For the chains that will break. For the glory that will shine through your story. You've been through the fire, but not to burn, to refine. You've been pressed, but not to crush, to release the oil of purpose that was always in you. The enemy thought it would destroy you, but instead, it deepened you. He thought it would silence you, but instead, it tuned your voice to my frequency. And now, your life carries a sound that shakes the darkness. A sound of freedom, of faith, of fire. Don't be afraid of your own strength. It's not pride to walk in what I've given you. It's obedience. It's not arrogance to take your place. It's worship. You are not too much. You are not too broken. You are not disqualified. You are exactly the kind of person I love to use, wounded, wondering, yet willing. And in your willingness, I will pour out more than you can contain. So breathe deep. This season has not been wasted. It's been sacred. A holy construction site. A divine reawakening. You've outgrown who you used to be, and that's a miracle. You don't fit in the old mindset anymore. You don't belong in the shallow places. You were made for depth, for legacy, for impact that cannot be measured by numbers, but by eternity. And eternity, that is where we're headed. Not one more step in vain. Not one more moment forgotten. Everything has meaning. Everything surrendered becomes holy. Everything you've given me, I've received, I've multiplied, and I will return it in ways you haven't dared to imagine yet. Because that's who I am. I don't just restore, I exceed. You've walked this far with me, and still, I am only getting started. This isn't the conclusion. This isn't the end of the story. It's the beginning of the unveiling, the turning of the page into the fullness I've long prepared for you. What you've endured was not for nothing. It was never meaningless. It was sacred ground, holy preparation, a foundation built on faith, not feeling, on promise, not performance. Now look up. This is not the same sky you stood under when you were breaking. This is the sky of a rising season, a sky that holds answers long delayed, joy long prayed for, peace you forgot could even be yours. I have not just led you through, I've led you into deeper trust, into stronger identity, into the kind of confidence that can't be shaken because it's not rooted in you. It's rooted in me. You no longer need to chase what was never meant for you. You don't need to force what I've already finished. I've opened the way. The path ahead may still wind, may still stretch into places unknown, but you now know who walks it with you. You've learned to recognize my voice in the silence, my nearness in the waiting, my goodness even in the dark. You've learned not to rush the story because you've seen that I write it well. There will still be trials. There will still be questions. But fear will no longer rule you. You've crossed over. The wilderness didn't destroy you. It clarified you. The fire didn't consume you. It refined you. And now you walk not with hesitation, but with holy expectation. Expect restoration. Expect laughter to return. Expect doors to open, not because of what you've done, but because of who I am. Expect clarity to replace confusion, beauty to rise from ashes, oil to flow from pressure. Your life is not a cautionary tale. It's a testimony, one that carries weight, one that breaks chains, one that makes the enemy nervous every time you rise again. Because now you know who you are, and more importantly, you know whose you are. I'm not distant. I'm not silent. I'm not disappointed in you. I'm right here as I've always been, and I'm smiling, not because you did everything perfectly, but because you never gave up. You believed, even when it didn't make sense, even when it hurt, even when your heart broke and you kept showing up in faith. That kind of belief moves mountains. So keep showing up, in love, in purpose, in grace. Let my spirit be your pace. Let my word be your compass. Let my presence be your home. I am not just the God who calls, I am the God who carries. I will carry you through every unknown, through every new beginning, through every open door. And when the world wonders how you made it, let them look not at your strength, but at my faithfulness. You are not here by accident. You are here by design, called, covered, commissioned. So walk, boldly, lightly, freely. You have nothing left to prove. You have everything to live for. This is your time, and I will be with you, always.
If this message touched your soul, don't let it stop here. Let it stir something deeper. Let it move you into prayer, into action, into faith like never before. You are not alone. God sees you. God loves you. And God is not done with your story. Comment below what part spoke to you most. Subscribe to Jesus Saves and join us weekly for more spirit-filled content. And remember, your life is not over. It's just beginning.